Siege attack. The bunker is being repaired, trying to hold off the roaches. Mars are out to try to hold off this attack. It's a very deadly attack. The bunker does go down. He's losing a few Marines. Has to back up the Marines and push them back. More Overlords coming in. Siege tank does finish out. He has to pull off SCVs. He needs to defend this attack, otherwise he could lose the game right up. Roach count is thinning out. He is picking up some of his tanks to reposition them off the high ground. However, Overlord dies before he can drop anything, and he does barely hold off attack. However, a huge swarm of Speedlings is coming in to reinforce this attack. Marines are kind of caught out of his position. He doesn't want to get sandwiched between the Roaches and the Speedlings. They will trap him and kill all his ground forces off. However, oh no! All the units, all infantry composition, he has to lift up what he can and save it. That attack did a lot of damage. Jelizark in a commanding position right now. Gearing up for another attack on the third, it looks like. He does have to move his orbital. Kind of a weird spot to move his third orbital. I guess he just want to get it down. Or maybe make Jelizark, his overlords are over here. Maybe just make him think he moved the orbital when actually it's still standing right here. His third base did look like it took a few hits. He needs a bit more drone saturation. We do have a Spire on the way, so he will be shutting down any sort of drops. +2 melee is on the way. No upgrades for the Roaches for their attack. No armor as well. For the infantry, we do see that +1, +2 has finished. No +1 for the vehicle grounds is done as well. So those tanks will do a lot of damage to those Roaches. Another attack going down, looking for the third base. Sees it's not there, so he's going to pick off a few refineries to be generally annoying. All those units are all caught in position. The Speedlings run in there, surround the siege tanks. They'll all get picked off. However, he does not decide to engage. He runs the Speedlings away. Both players taking each other's respective goals, although it's a bit risky to take a goal as a Terran without having a planetary. It means your units will have to be pretty split up, defend all your bases at once. We do have a small amount of Marines. The drop is going to go down on the third base. However, a bunch of Speedlings do see the gold base and do attempt to take it down. He does have the watchtowers taken. Oh, a mule that just drops in gets picked off. That's going to hurt for the econ of our Terran player. However, counterattack going on the third base, taking out that spine crawler. A couple of Roaches coming in here. He will have to pick up his Marines and leave. He does. He does not have the force to take out that small Roach army. Spire has finished. Mutalisks are on the way. 13 Mutalisks are on the way. He is positioning his siege tanks to hold his third base. However, if he does position his tank right about here, he can actually hit the drone line, maybe even the hatchery on the gold base for Jelizark. Just a bunch of Marines being pumped out. No additional upgrades for vehicles. He is getting his +3 attack. Still on +1 armor. Oh, another big drop going on the third base. Kills off a bunch of drones. However, the Roaches do clean it up. Mutalisks are out. Mutalisks try to catch. Picking off siege tanks where he can. These siege tanks are kind of in awkward spots. Unsieging to move. Taking the Marines on the watchtowers. The Terran will have to play a defensive game until missile turrets are up, because with these Mutalisks out, he cannot do any real drops, and he cannot really leave any of his SCV lines alone, because these Mutalisks will pick off SCVs and just be generally annoying. Another drop going on somewhere. Here it is in the main base of Jelizark, picking off an Overlord, running for the mineral line, picking off an extractor that's very annoying. Zerg is very gas heavy. A bunch of Speedlings coming to surround them. He will have to pick up. Oh, he moved his medevac to pick it up, and he knows that. Oh, and 3 Marines will get picked off inside of the medevac because Mutalisks are out. He does, however, do a huge counterattack and pick off the gold base for Jelizark. Jelizark still stuck on 3 base, first 3 base, which is not favorable for the Zerg at all. Even one SCV getting on the action. Another drop being rallied for MMA. And a bunch of Mutalisks try to come in and do some harassing. However, there are some Marines there. Missile turret is down. However, there's not enough Marines. The Mutalisks target fire the Marines as they're firing down and do pick off a few of them. The missile turret does finish but goes down almost immediately. However, he will have to flee because the rest of the Marines are there. This base does get up. He's taking his 4th base and actually accidentally is used as a spar for this medevac drop. Now he needs to move his Mutalisks into that position, try to pick it off. He does not, however, and all his ground army is standing over here. This drop will land and will do some considerable damage unless Jelizark reacts right away. Another drop being rallied for the main as well. So the multi-pronged harass. Oh, he's not even going for the 3rd. He's just trying to force a cancel on the 4th base. However, these Speedlings come in and surround. The Mutalisks come in to help pick off the medevac. This drop is completely nullified. The 4th base will still get up. However, this drop is unloading, and it looks like Jelizark does not have an idea. He does have an Overlord over here, but is kind of out of position. So these Marines should stim, run in, and see what they can kill. Kill off a Queen, kill off an Extractor, kill anything. A couple drones do go down. Oh, the Queen almost going down. All the drones go down. Nice reaction. And all the Banelings, the Mutalisks, and the Zerglings do run in to clean up this drop. He will have to flee, losing another medevac with half full of Marines. He's losing. These drops are becoming less and less fruitful. However, he's going to continue the drop pressure. He did force a cancel on the 3rd by bringing part of his army down. He positioned his siege tanks in such a way. Going back up to defend 2 Marines is here trying to be a hero. Kill off a Queen maybe. Oh, and the Queen goes down. He will have to remake that Queen if he wants to keep up on his inject. His third base is mining quite healthy right now. Just 1 missile turret, 1 SCV, just too cool to mine. We just see massive ground army of Speedlings, Banelings, and Mutalisks just kind of rolling around. He's sticking with that. Does not look like he wants to get any sort of Infestor tech or Hive tech at all. Which is kind of risky because if he gets too many siege tanks, too many marines, you need broodlords and need ultralists to deal with that huge ground army of the Terran player. Although another drop looked like it was gearing up, but the mutalisks are poking themselves around the front. They are making themselves present, showing, hey, I'm here. You try and drop me, I'm picking off your shit. However, this medevac gonna go completely out of position. He should. Oh no! The mutalisks actually missed the medevac. The medevac does go jive up real quick. Mutalisk flying the opposite way. That Overlord still barely out of position to see this drop. This drop will land in the main and do some damage. And another drop going down for the third base. A couple Marauders even. Actually skipping the third. Nope, not skipping the third. And at the same time, a huge Marine tag push with 6 or so siege tanks and a bunch of Marines. Even a few SCVs are gearing up. He is getting ready. The bunch of Banelings in his Overlords though. He needs to be very careful. Sieging right outside. And all the Banelings are moving in. The Banelings are going to try to drop on the Marines. The Marines do stim it back up. They do not want to be dropped on. The siege tanks are taking massive damage. All the Speedlings are running in, but they're a little bit too late to the party. All the siege tanks do manage to go down. All the Marines are getting cleaned up. These Baneling drops are doing so well for Jelizard. All the Marines are forced to flee back. He is forced to flee back to his third base, where he does have a few siege tanks up and missile turrets. However, there's too many Zerg units. All the Mutalisks are coming in, picking off so many SCVs. All the Banelings and the Zerglings are just taking care of the rest of the Marines. This siege tank, Hero siege tank, is getting up to 14 kills, just blowing away. This missile turret, 2 missile turrets, are just shooting away at the Mutalisks. However, all the Marines do come down. This base is saved. Huge counterattack. He did lose a lot. A bunch of Mutalisks are dropping, however. And all these Overlords just kind of hanging around. They are asking to be picked off. He needs to be careful, reposition his Overlord. But he's still only on 2 base. And he's not extremely well saturated either. A couple Muto versus Marine fights going on near the Xel'Naga Towers. We only have 48 drones versus 41 SCVs, so both players not as high in econ as they'd like to be, especially for this late in the game. Mutos do fly back home. His Muto count did thin out, considerably so. A drop did attempt to happen, however this medevac does get picked off. Speedling's even trying to help in. They wish they could jump with their little wings. Another medevac drop looks like it's scaring over. He's being relentless with these drops. And his 4th base is up. Not quite turned into either a planetary or an orbital quite yet. He's getting a bunker. Does not want to have that shit counterattacked. Dropping behind the cloud. Again, this Overlord placement just not in the right position to catch these drops in the main. He needs to have his mutas flying around. He needs his Overlord to place better so he doesn't lose all of anything in a huge drop. However, there's not a lot of drones in here to kill, so he's going to target down just a couple of Overlords, maybe the Spire, maybe the Baneling Nest, take down some key important textures. He does target down the Baneling Nest. Jelizard not reacting at all. His army is now heading over. He has to remake his spawning pool. These Marines do considerable damage. Soda Step Micro is pretty good. Getting himself a nice little choke cover. The medevac does go down, and there's just not enough Marines to deal with that handful of Mutalisks. A bunch of more Marines, more siege tanks are being rallied by the 3rd gold, which is almost actually Jai, who will have to transfer almost all these SCVs to his natural 3rd, more or less. Start getting that at mining, which does have a considerable amount mining, and one of the refineries is up. However, he is not mining from it. He does have missile turrets up. A huge, oh, it looks like a push, maybe, no. 4th base for Jelizard finally gets started. However, it is spotted almost immediately by this Marine, this Corporal Marine. 3 links come in, just take them out. All the Mutalisks are flying around, making themselves a threat. However, he does not have any Banelings anymore. All of his gas is just going to other important upgrades, key tech structures. He lost all his Banelings since the huge drop that happened. A huge attack coming in here. Siege tanks and Marines. He scans the base. He sees what it is. The Reaper is still managing to be alive at this point in the game. Sieging up. The Zerg player is completely cut out of his position. All his units are on the other side of the map. He scans to see where the army is. He sees no army, so he knows he can do a considerable amount of damage. He does unsiege and back away. He denied the 4th base. That's all he needed to do. Do not let the Zerg get more bases than you. And just kind of macro up. A bunch of Banelings being morphed. All the Overlords are in position to have the Banelings filled up in them. Some Overlords kind of finally moving in position. This 4th base is mining nicely, very saturated. A handful of Marines here to defend it. However, this base is dry. He should just lift this up actually. Maybe take it to another location to mine. He does need this gas though, so he will keep it here. Just kind of moving around the map with his units. Jelizard kind of moving around the map with his Mutalisks, trying to see what he can do, see where the Terran player is weak, see what kind of damage he can do. Splitting up his Mutalisks, taking care of the watchtowers. However, that Reaper does go down and take off that link. He scans, sees no army is there, but he does see a bunch of drones being transferred. Jelizark trying to fake like he's got an X-Ball. However, the Marines do run up right away and get a bunch of free drone kills. That is painful for Jelizark. And all these Mutalisks are moving over here to try to get rid of the Marines that he thought was dropping. All the siege tanks moving down the right lane, heading toward the third base of Jelizark. Jelizark does not have a lot of stuff in position right now. He does have a bunch of Overlords with Banelings and a bunch of Zerglings, but they're all out of position. A bunch of Marines taking out a couple of Overlords. However, all the Overlords are moving in for Jelizark. He needs to siege up. He sieges up, running the Marines back. However, the Baneling drops are doing massive damage. All the Mutalisks are taking heavy fire. He did not make his Mutalisks. He lost a bunch of them away. And Micromans leans back. Very nice with Stim, cutting the Overlords, not letting the Banelings drop on them. And he does not. He uses all siege tanks over. A huge amount of his Marines are still alive. And all these Overlords are kind of out of position. And GG out of Jelizark, taking that game.